According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small, and it has a fat little body. No wonder they're all dying.
Sigh. No. The bee population is declining due to industrial agriculture, parasites and pathogens, and climate change.
Who cares? It's not like the bee population has an effect on my life.
That's where you're wrong. The bee population plays an essential role in ecosystems. A third of our food rely heavily on their pollination. Imagine how devastating our world would be without pollinators for food production.
Exactly. Harmful bee-killing pesticides have got to stop, and we need to shift away from destructive industrial agriculture towards ecological farming.
So, we go back to a time where technology is non-existent? Wouldn't that be more work? I know there's 8 billion people in this world, but I like to do the consuming of the food, not the creating.
I think they meant utilizing our resources for bee-friendly purposes. Cutting back on harmful pesticides being one of them. Hopefully increasing the bee population.
But you can't exactly make more bees. And you can't cut back on pesticides, those protect the crops.
Growl. That's not. Sigh. Pesticides may kill unwanted insects, but with that comes the bees. Do you know the effects of pesticides on bees?
No, not really. Never thought much about that because it has nothing to do with me.
Pesticides cause psychological effects, perturbation of the foraging pattern, interference with feeding behavior, and degradation of learning processes.
Okay, fine, the bees are dying. It's not like there's anything we can do about that. We can't replace the bees in their work because we're not pollinators, and I don't think you can teach other insects to pollinate.
I say you just find other methods of obtaining food. We have a ton of resources, like you all said, so this should be easy.
It's not. The economic value of bees pollination work is estimated to be around $267 billion. Ignoring this decline of bee population is like giving up that money without a fight.
$267 billion?
Fortunately, there are ways to deter from the situation. Thanks to scientific and technological evolution, my team and I have developed a sufficient way of pollination inspired by bees to help bees.
We call it Röbee, a minuscule machine that can work as a bee does. Using cutting-edge technologies to mimic bee pollination process, this robot will enable us to aid bees with their work.
The bee's body is made of carbon fiber, making for a strong, stiff, lightweight material that is stronger than steel and is used in specialized, high-performance products like aircrafts and race cars.
It also has a main rotor blade, not unlike a helicopter chop for flight.
Okay, so you've got those cool science objects, but how can a robot do a bee's job?
Well, Röbee works by using its bristle-made legs to obtain pollen from flowers. Those pollen will remain on its bristle-made legs until Röbee spreads the pollen to the next flower or the wind snatches it.
And the nectar? That's the best part. You can't forget the nectar.
We didn't. Along with Röbee's bristle-made legs are two tubes located at its rear end. The shorter tube acts as a hose that extracts nectar from the same flower as Röbee's bristle legs brushes off pollen. The longer tube acts as a reservoir for nectar until it can be removed.
Basically, the bud stores the nectar, right? And the other part of the bud sucks the nectar? Ha 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 ha.
Size. Yes, that's right.
Alright, so you have this functioning bee, with body made from carbon fiber, legs made of bristles, tubes that store nectar, and chops for flight. But bees have been around and pollinating for more than 120 million years. It's hubris to think that we can improve that.
I don't think it's a good idea to replace the bees with artificial ones.
We're not here to eradicate and replace bees. We're here as aid because bee population is dying. It's a temporary solution for an increasing problem. It's knowing that the bees are dying, and we have the technology to help them, even if it's infinitesimal.
Röbee works as a drone, so we're the ones to control it. Although we might be able to install non-toxic liquid gel that uses static electricity and stickiness to lift and stick the pollen in the future. Possibly add artificial intelligence and a GPS so it could be programmed to forage for and pollinate plants on its own.
That's just one of the many possibilities that Röbee presents. It's not an ultimate solution, but it is a gateway.
And all this will help the bee population so that it will help our food production?
So bees are essential to lives, and so we must do this. To save food production.
That's the goal.
Help the bees,
so that they can help us.
I had virtually no understanding of any of that.